Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ride On Motorcycle Podcast, sponsored by Break Free. I'm your host, Jogo, and in this episode, we're going to have content creator Doodle on a motorcycle coming on. She gives motorcycle tips to shorter riders. She's always striving to improve her skills, and she just recently came back from a cross-country motorcycle trip. Can't wait to bring her on and talk to her and dive down a little deeper. All right, without further ado, let's bring in Doodle on a motorcycle. Roll the intro. How you doing today, Doodle?
Hello. Good. How are you?
I'm good. All right, Doodle. We're just going to hop right into this. So for the first question, tell us a little about yourself and your YouTube channel for the people that don't know you.
I am Doodle or Carolyn. That's the one on my birth certificate anyways. And I make videos about motorcycles. A lot of road trips. That's kind of what I really like to feature, and training as well. Really working towards trying to do training specifically in a way that is interesting for people. Because when I used to take there was one year where I took all the MSF courses, and that was not very interesting for other people, just for me. So I've been really trying to think about how to do that in a way that is interesting for people. So I did like 100 U-turns a day for 30 days challenge, and I'll be expanding that. So on other bikes and also just on my bike. Also just trying to feature some really cool, very advanced riders, like more recently Jocelyn Snow, who if you're familiar with like the adventure space, she's 1.5, and rides a GS 1250. Her feet can't even touch the ground, but she's participated in the BMW GS Trophy competition, just doing insane stuff on that huge bike. So did a training with her, and right now I'm working on trying to get a police department to let me showcase them and their training. There's a lot of red tape to do it, but I think it may happen. I actually, like, today was the first day I actually met with a police department, like one that actually like wanted to talk about it. So yeah, working on that. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I actually, a couple of weeks ago, I just got back from a police motor officer training and finally released a video today. But yeah, that'd be really cool to see it with an actual police department. That'd be pretty neat.
So are you a motor officer?
No, I am not. I just went to, so it's a,
Yeah, I think I saw that on
yeah,
Instagram. I wasn't sure, but you were in the military, right?
yeah, I still am.
Okay.
So went to that lock and lean course, and it's literally the first 3 days of motor officers. They teach all that stuff. It's really cool.
Cool.
Now we'll move into the second question. Well, actually, let me ask you this, because I'm sure everybody asks you this, but where's the name Doodle come from?
That was given to me by my martial arts instructor, who I used to do graphic design work for. And then one day when I brought whatever work I had for the day, I thought he said, "What do you have for me, Doodle?" But he didn't, and I still don't know what he said to this day. So I asked him, I was like, "Did you just call me Doodle?" And he was like, "No, but I will." And after that, everybody called me Doodle, and I didn't hear my name again.
That's awesome.
I guess it kind of applies because I do draw. I have been drawing like my whole life, and for a long time I wanted to be a children's book illustrator. Went to art school, but then got addicted to YouTube instead. So I've been doing this.
Yeah. No, it makes, the name makes sense. I didn't know that about you until I watched Dave from Canyon Chasers, that interview. That was a great interview.
Oh, thanks.
Question 2 here. How long have you been riding, and what got you into motorcycles?
I started riding in, I took the MSF course at the very end of 2016. It was really just a whim, really. I was like going through like bucket list, checklist things to do. I was newly single and just wanting to find what I like to do and on my own, and just really enjoy being single for like the first time in a long time. And learning to ride motorcycles was something I had been wanting to do for a long time. So, but I didn't want to commit. I didn't want to actually buy my own bike or do anything like with a lot of commitment. I kind of was looking for like a quick weekend thing, like, you know, like you do skydiving one time, check it off your list, and then very few people, you know, keep doing that regularly. That's kind of how I viewed motorcycles. And I was looking for somebody who maybe had a bike that would let me learn on their bike. And eventually someone told me about the MSF course. So I thought, perfect, they'll lend me everything. And I'll have a bike tomorrow, I'll have a helmet even, and I can just get in and out for 2 days and I don't even have to think about it anymore. But after that weekend, I was hooked. I was like, my own bike now. So I got my own bike that January of that next year. So like 3 months later. And that was 2017. Yeah, been riding ever since.
Wow. So did you have any influence from anybody like in your family? Does anybody in your family ride a motorcycle?
No.
Wow.
I mean, my dad did when he was a kid, but my parents are from the Dominican Republic, third world country, so everybody rides a motorcycle at some point. All the guys, anyways. So it is just like, you know, it's just the mode of transportation there, the main mode of transportation, the most affordable one. So he did ride when he was a kid, but that was probably the closest thing.
Then when you started riding, was there something that made you want to pursue like the slow speed stuff and just trying to improve your skills?
I think it's just in my personality to always want to learn and improve and do the best that I can in whatever I'm doing. And it's just really fun for me to practice that and get better at that. Probably because it's difficult. And anytime something is difficult, I hear so many people say like, well, then it must not be for you. I don't think that at all. If something's difficult, I think, oh, this is going to be fun. Because then once you finally get to a point where it's not difficult, it's very rewarding.
Right. And you ride all these bigger bikes. And from my understanding, you're shorter. That's hence why you put up the rider tips for shorter riders. And I mean, that's awesome that you're riding these full-size motorcycles. You rode street glides, big touring motorcycles, big adventure motorcycles. I mean, completely awesome.
I have a lot to compensate, I feel like. Well, I just
Yeah,
overcompensate sometimes.
Yeah, but you do it well, so that's a good thing. So we also have Ken Grant. I think he actually works with Lock and Lane. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was looking at their course not too long ago. I was and when I was looking for like thinking about how could I showcase motor police training, and I'm just going straight to departments because I'm like, that could be really cool too if I could get like if I can also interview real motor police officers about it. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Joey Kowalski says maybe try 100 wheelies a day when you said that you're incorporating.
Yes, I want to do that too. But I think I should master the U-turns first. So I'm doing U-turns first. And what I plan on doing is right now I have a mini bike. It's like a mini trail bike though. So I want to sell it and instead get like a mini dirt bike. And then that's where I'll practice the wheelies, 100 wheelies a day for 30 days.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, I've had zero ambitions to pop any wheelies. I don't think I've ever popped a wheelie on a bicycle. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been told I've popped a wheelie before by accident, but I didn't know.
We'll move on to question 3 here. So you're one of the first female riders I've ever had on the podcast. I had Boots and Jeans riders, and we had Rich and Cake, but I never had a solo female rider on here. So it's good to get your perspective. What do you think the biggest challenge for female riders face compared to men?
I don't know. Someone asked me that the other day too, and I couldn't really think of challenges other than maybe gear is just we don't have as many options is really the only thing I could think of. But even that I wouldn't say is really a challenge. I don't know. Why do you think what do you think? Just like
I don't know. I think I wasn't sure if there was anything that females might face that men don't face. I didn't know. I was coming up with some questions for you. But
Yeah.
with the next question in mind, do you think you have any advantages over men?
Um, I think so. At least whenever I've gone to these classes, they often say that women will be some of the best students because we just listen. And they said
Yeah.
that sometimes the guys won't want to listen, or will think that they're more advanced than they really are, and maybe will take more risks. But I think probably that maybe just as women we can, like, people say that women get higher grades, like we make
Mhm.
good students, I think.
Yeah. Another thought is, so I'm in the Army, and they say that women are just naturally better at shooting. So I think
Well, I heard
possibly,
that.
yeah, possibly women could be more uh, precise on like slow speed maneuvers and stuff and riding at speed.
Yeah, I won't say I'm one of those women yet, but I strive to be.
Yeah. Let's see if we got any good comments in here.
Russell's talking about wheeling his Road King. That could be pretty cool. But I
Yeah.
did see Drea stunts. I've seen her do some stunts on baggers. Usually she's doing it on like sport bikes, I'm pretty sure, but I did see a clip of her pulling a wheelie on I think it was either a street or a road glide, because I definitely remember the big fairing on the bagger.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos of people doing stunts on these big baggers, but the one thing that drives me nuts is it's always on the road. Like, I don't have an issue with doing this stunning, but do it in a parking lot where you're not putting yourself and other people at danger.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
my
I'm surprised they don't get in trouble. Like, I'm like, isn't that legal?
well,
Like, it's pretty obvious that it's you too.
right, exactly. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
You got Jeanette West all the way from Alaska.
Hello, Jeanette.
That'd definitely be a good trip. Have you been to Alaska?
No, it's on my list though. That'd be a good trip.
Oh,
Did you get your hat
what?
on Adam Sandoval's convoy?
Yes, actually, last
Nice.
weekend, and I had him
Nice.
sign it.
Oh, awesome. I
Yeah,
was just
he's a really good guy.
Yeah, he is. He's so nice. I'm
Yeah.
I like want to ask him, like, how did you get so much empathy? Like, he's like literally just such a nice guy, just so understanding of like different people. And but yeah, I was recently on the convoy, and I'd only planned to be on it like maybe 3 days, and
Mhm.
and I was so bummed. I'm like, man, I wish I would have stayed longer. Like, it was so much fun. Like, it's just such a people are just so friendly on that convoy. I was
Yeah.
actually planning on going on the tail end of it, like mid-July, but then
Mhm.
I just realized it's already July 5th, and I haven't booked anything or arranged anything. So I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can make it now. We'll see.
Yeah, he's had some pretty good turnouts on that kind of
Mhm.
way, and people staying on there for almost the entire time.
Yeah, yeah, it's insane. That was the biggest, probably the biggest group ride I've ever done. That ride with the convoy.
Yeah, so ours, we went from it was only about a 40-minute ride, but on the freeway, it was a little sketchy because there was like 50 bikes all trying to stay together, weaving in and out of the freeway, and got a little dicey a couple times. But it was all right.
Yeah, I peeled off eventually. I'm like, these people are too fast for me. I don't have a windshield. I'm already spoiled with my accessories. I can't handle this low rider. I got off a rider share with no accessories.
Right?
Yeah, it was pretty cool actually. I wanted to take my bike, but what happened? My rear brake lever was shot because I dropped the bike on it during one of my 100 bike lifts a day challenge,
Okay.
and so it was delayed, my rear brake lever. So I didn't want to ride on my bike. So I drove there, and when Adam saw me, he was like, "You need to be on a bike. Let me make a phone call." And so he called Rideshare, one of his sponsors, and the next day found a bike for me. So I did have a bike, and I was able to participate in the group ride, which I'm really glad, because I realized like what it was. I don't know what I was picturing, but I was like, I would have been really bummed if I came on this group ride in my car. So I'm glad
Yeah.
he hooked me up there.
Yeah, definitely a good time, good cause. I mean, he's raising a crap ton of money. We'll move into question 5, but I have a little video that I cut together.
Okay.
So I'll put up the question. just recently you stayed overnight in a decommissioned missile bunker.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and roll a video of that real quick.
Okay.
We are standing at the entrance of a ballistic missile bunker. Today, many missile sites are privately owned and extremely dangerous. So, we're gonna spend the night here. No, seriously.
Oh, this is quite freaky.
Yeah.
All right, we're locked in here for the next 24 hours. Not really, we can go out anytime we want. That is where we're staying tonight. This is our apartment for the night. This is where I'll be staying. The kitchen, this is where the original kitchen was.
We are currently 40 feet underground, and I am quite hungry, so I'm going to eat some food and take a shower in a missile bunker. What? This is where the missile would go, and those springs you see right there is part of the elevator system that would hold the missile on cables.
It smells kind of funny 40 feet underground in a steel container.
What was it like sleeping in a decommissioned missile bunker?
Oh, so that was pretty cool. That was in Roswell, New Mexico, in the middle of the desert. It was so hot. Maybe it was only like 80 or 90 degrees that day. But they had told me that even when the desert is 110 degrees, that bunker has no AC, no heat, but it always stays like in the 60s. I was pretty chilly down there. For me, that's pretty cold. It's like upper 60s, I think. But I think they're not sure. I don't think there's a thermometer in there. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Really, really quiet, really peaceful. And the person who owns it, he's like a missile speaker. So he knows a lot about these Civil War missiles and other missiles. Missile bunkers, I mean. He's a bunker speaker. And one of the things he was saying was, if you ever feel uncomfortable, you can go up to the surface anytime. And I was like, why would I feel uncomfortable? And then when I started talking about it, when I posted the video, so many people were like, feel so claustrophobic. That's terrifying. 40 feet underground. I was like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Right.
Yeah, no, I found it very, very peaceful and really cool. And his brother-in-law is the one who gave me a tour. As the speaker himself, has some disability with his legs, so it's more difficult for him to get around. And so the brother-in-law gave me a tour, but after that, they let me just free roam in the bunker by myself, except for the control room, which is where the missile speaker and his wife live. But yeah, and then the other one, he has two actually. He bought two of them for $110,000 from the U.S. government in 1999. And the other one he did not renovate. He left it pretty much as is. So it's like laid, just affected by nature and vandalism. And we took a tour of that one the next day. That was really cool.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I wouldn't be freaked out staying underground, but as you said, some people being claustrophobic, and it's really cool that you can go on Airbnb and just book that. Like, how did you find that? You just scroll on Airbnb?
So on Airbnb, there is a tab. They may have changed it, but it's a tab just called the OMG tab. They have like different tabs that say like where you can filter by like lake house, mountains, cave, even condos, like all different types. And there's one tab that's called like the OMG tab, and that's where like very unique, very interesting things that get a lot of attention because there's something really cool about it. And I just filtered through that and then looked along loosely on my path, crossing the country back home, and saw that was kind of on my path, and picked it that way. Like there's a spaceship in Joshua Tree that that one's booked out like 2 years in advance, but that one, like, it looked like a real spaceship from the outside. Well, at least how a real spaceship I would picture it looking. Anyways,
well, did you put in your reservation for it 2 years?
No, I didn't. I probably should.
Yeah, you definitely could. Now, was that underground bunker booked out pretty far in
That
advance?
one,
Or no?
I think it was, but not as much. And there were some days, like during the week that it was available. And also it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like I went there just to go to the bunker. Probably another reason you might go there is because it's near Roswell. So like if you're really into aliens and you're going to Roswell to specifically tour around the alien themed museums and things there, then you might be there. But yeah, that area doesn't attract a lot of people. But like that spaceship that's booked out years in advance, that is like right in or near Joshua Tree, the Joshua Tree National Park. So that's already a very popular area for tourists.
Let's move on to the next question here. Just recently, you became a certified dirt bike coach. So what was the biggest challenge of completing that?
For me, I guess it was all mental. I'm either a really bad rider or I'm very insecure. But I think it's just because I have very skilled riders in my mind. And when I compare myself to those. I don't compare myself to average or beginners. I just look at the absolute best, and that's my baseline for judgment. And so, of course, I'm not at that level. So pretty much everything I do, I'm like, I'm not there yet. And I think that can really get in the way whenever you're trying to learn things or get qualifications for things. Like, I will tell you the truth of what happened with that video. So I had reached out to the MSF, my contact at MSF, because I've done some videos with them. And I asked them if I could just show what it's like to get certified to become a motorcycle coach. That's part of this training series that I'm doing, this like I Trained Like. So I just did one with Jocelyn, which was I Trained Like an adventure bike champion. And now I'm trying to do one with motor cops, I Trained Like a motor cop. And that idea was I wanted to do one I Trained Like a motorcycle coach. And I had asked her, I was like, is it okay if I participate in the training and just show what it's like? And I said, it's okay if you don't think I'm qualified. If I fail even, that's totally fine. I just want to show the process. And failure could even be good because it just shows how difficult it can be. And she said, no, we think you can do it. I was like, wait, I just mean to like make a video. She was like, no, I think you're gonna. She's like, I think you're gonna pass. I'm like, I mean, but I'm like, it's okay if I fail though. She's like, no, I think you're gonna pass. So really my idea was I just wanted to make a video and show it. And then I passed and I thought, well, you know what? This is pretty cool. I would love to help like new riders learn to turn on a bike and ride it around a circle. So it's definitely like just the entry level class. Like I'm not teaching it more advanced techniques. It's usually people who've never ridden before. So now it's something I do once a month at my campus, and it's been really fun. And then plus I get a lot more practice too on dirt, which is great because I don't have a dirt bike and I have a small yard. And I do want to get that little mini bike, like maybe a 125 or even smaller, so I can do my wheelie practice and just to have a mini bike, you know. But other than that, that's like all the dirt bike experience I can get. So that's been really nice because then they let me practice on dirt like just throughout the week. I check in and I'm like, is the campus available at least for me to go ride the dirt bikes? And they're like, yep, it's available this Thursday. You can come by whenever you want. I'm like, thank you. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it turned out to be better than I expected.
Yeah. So you're gonna teach one class a month?
Yeah, that's what I've been aiming for. Maybe once a month or every 2 months. There was a little bit there where I did it. I had like 2 1 month because like the past couple months I did more than I originally planned. Just because there were a couple people who couldn't make their day, and so they were looking for someone who could sub in. So I came in. But yeah, that's my aim, is to just do it like maybe once every 1 to 2 months.
Do you have any ambition to go up to the next level? I don't know what the next level is from the basic, but
not really. For now, I just want to keep practicing with dirt bikes. The way I see it kind of is like the similar thing happened when I first started doing martial arts. I first came into it, kind of like how I came into motorcycles with, which it was like a class, like a women's self-defense class. And the techniques they taught us, I'm like, this is insane. Like, I thought there was no way I'd be able to pin my partner down because they're like way taller than me and I'm like a skinny little girl. But the technique you just showed me, like I was literally able to pin them down and like escape from under them. What is this? And they're like, oh, well, our women's self-defense class is based on jiu-jitsu, and we teach jiu-jitsu at the school as well if you wanted to do that. So I signed up for jiu-jitsu, and I did that like 3 times a week for about 7 years. And after about a year of doing that, my instructor asked me if I wanted to help teach the women's self-defense class. So I kind of also there unintentionally became a coach, but in not in the jiu-jitsu class, but in the women's self-defense class, also like an entry level thing. So becoming a coach or instructor, it's never been my plan. It's just kind of happens. I think just because when I do something, I really love it and I'm excited about it, and I think that that can be helpful when it comes to teaching other new people. So it just at least twice now I've became a coach without necessarily the plan to. It just kind of happened because I was loving it and also love learning.
So it seems like you're just a natural teacher. You just fall in these situations, then all of a sudden you're a teacher.
I guess so. We'll see. I feel like 2 times is maybe a coincidence. Maybe if it happens a 3rd time, then maybe that's the pattern.
Yeah, exactly. And Grant that says it's easy to cheer for Doodle as she has a never quit approach to this sport. Her drive and personality are absolutely infectious. And he's right, because we'll get into it here in a few, but I mean, I drop your motorcycle quite a bit. I drop mine a lot too, but you get back up and you just keep on trying to learn more, and that's what makes us better.
Yeah. People have a very strange view about bike dropping. Like, I won't tell on anybody, because if they don't want to talk about it online, then I don't need to call them out. But I do know some people that they say if they drop it, they don't show it online or on YouTube if they already have an online presence. But I'm like, but that's the best part. and so many of us do it, especially if it's doing any slightly off-roading or on adventure bikes, maybe less so with cruisers, but it still happens, especially if you're newer, and especially if it's a bike that requires a learning curve, like maybe it's a little bit bigger or taller than feels comfortable at first. But that's just part of the process of learning, getting better. Like, there once upon a time I could not flip a 150-pound guy, and then after some practice and after some mistakes, I could flip a 200-pound guy. That's completely normal to fail if you want to do something really cool.
Yeah. Well, this is a great segue into the next question, because I didn't realize this was the next question. But I have another video clip that I put together that will segue into this question.
Okay.
More weight to the outside.
Definitely got stuck in the turn, and down goes me. That didn't quite work out. So, leading into this question here, what would you tell new riders that are afraid of dropping their motorcycle? Because I drop mine a lot, and I gladly show it. You show it on your channel. So what would you tell them?
If you're dropping, you're learning. Like, it's anyone who says, I kind of think of anyone that tells me I shouldn't be riding. If I'm dropping it, I shouldn't be riding it. It's too big for me. I kind of think of that as an underperformer is shoulding on you. And that is someone who has not discovered what it's like to become extremely skilled in something very difficult. Otherwise, they would know if they would see that anytime that there is a mistake, that is a sign of trying something challenging, and it's actually a good thing.
Some people are just insecure with themselves. They say, I've been riding 40 years and I've never dropped my bike.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, I know, right?
I dropped myself just walking up the stairs. What? Like, am I supposed to just stop walking because I tripped myself? No, that's
exactly. And this is why I try to stress we practice this in the parking lot, so that way when we're on the street, we're not doing that. And some people don't get it. And then also, in that police motor officer course, I've put up a couple shorts to where I'm getting onto the motorcycle on the high side, and people just lose their minds. And they just say that's the wrong side, but yet the advanced motorcycle course I just went to, that's how they teach you to get on the motorcycle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because it's the opposite side of where traffic is if they pull over to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good way for people with either like hip problems or they're a little bit shorter. You step on that and you literally just go up and over and sit down. People are just a little insecure about that.
Yeah, it's weird how much unsolicited advice you will get on the internet and how much it can conflict too. I thought it was just me because I'm like, oh, it's because they think I don't know what I'm doing because I'm learning. But I found out that people like Moto Jitsu and Jerry Palladino get a lot of it too. Maybe even more than me because they're actually talking about it. And yeah, and I realized like, okay, there's no way that these people leaving these comments are better riders than Moto Jitsu, like that.
Right.
What? So I think it's just gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have the hate, and all you can do is keep your head down and keep on practicing and get better than them. Which chances are you probably already are. So Zan Biker says, "Heck, look how often $1 Billion Bogan drops his bike."
Yeah, he takes the Harley baggers off-roading too, doesn't he?
I don't know. I'm not 100% familiar with Bogan. I think you got to check him out.
Harley riders are crazy. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't have my off-road tires today. I don't know if I should go down that road. And then I see like Harley riders taking their big baggers on gravel roads. I'm like, it's fine. I'm a good rider. I can handle it. I'm like, where do you get that confidence?
Yeah. And Grant says it's our egos that take the most damage when we drop the motorcycle. Yes. Well, after you do it a few times, then it doesn't bother me anymore. Because Jimmy the Bull says one of the best things that ever happened was dropping my bike. I was no longer afraid of doing so, and 100% correct.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it was learning to pick up my bike. So actually practicing picking up my bike so I can make sure I had that technique perfect. When I did my first U-turn challenge, 100 U-turns a day for 30 days, I actually didn't drop the bike during any of those U-turns practice. I'm very surprised. And now that I started doing the U-turn challenge, I'm extending it to 90 days and I'm trying to do tighter and harder turns. And I'm trying to like do it like one-legged too. So just getting really, really good at it. And I've dropped my bike several times already. And just like, I'm on day 51, I think. So in about 20 days in, I dropped it like twice already during this U-turn challenge round number 2. And previously when I dropped my bike, I was so ashamed and afraid and worried because I didn't know if I could pick it up. But now that I've practiced picking up my bike so many times with the 100 bike lifts a day for 30 days challenge, which I actually couldn't finish because I really screwed up my knees, but I'm still gonna on it. Yeah, now it's so easy. My bike comes up like a feather. So, and whenever I dropped it, more recently during these U-turn practices, I was like, I did get back up and I didn't feel phased. Well, I felt very anxious, but this time I was like, I can pick it up all by myself. I don't need to call my husband to ask me to help me.
Right. And picking up an adventure bike is actually way different than a bagger that has crash bars. I learned that the hard way on my Pan America that I had for a couple weeks.
Oh, the Pan America especially is so hard to pick up. That's probably the hardest bike to pick up that I've tried picking up.
Yeah, it's super tall, and it's like 500 pounds or so.
Yeah, and it lies very flat on the ground.
Yeah, I know it was on top of me. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, in that video that I played when I fell, I mean, I'm used to having the crash bars, and Robert Simmons, he taught me, keep your feet on the floorboards, everything will be fine. But I'm not on a touring bike anymore, so I kept my feet on the pegs, and I was sadly mistaken on what I was doing.
No.
But
oh no.
It's okay. We survived. I'm still here.
Was your leg okay?
The peg dug into my shin a little bit, left a pretty nice scar, but it's fine. The funny thing is, I just took off. I have like a mesh protective jacket that I was wearing in the course, and I just took it off. It's too hot out here, and then I fall over.
Of course.
Yeah. Go ahead and move on to question 8 here. So you just recently did a cross-country trip, 7 days from Georgia to California. Was this your first one?
Yes. That was a terrible idea. I don't recommend it. I was so tired and hurting. And I remember like when I finally got home, I was or maybe I was telling my husband, like, this is terrible. Crossing America in 7 days. I'm so tired. My body hurts. Why did I do this? And I was like, I know why I did it, because I thought it'd be a good YouTube title. That's why. Because I started writing and doing YouTube at the exact same time. So for me, YouTube is so strong. Like normally, I think a lot of people, the motorcycles come first, and then maybe they do YouTube. So they're riding. It's usually a trip that they just want to do. But for me, it's this would make a cool video. This that usually comes first.
You definitely made it look fun. I think you still have a couple more videos that you're going to release from that, right? Yeah, but so far it looks like it was a blast, and I didn't realize it was only 7 days. So you got a lot done in 7 days.
Well, it was 7 days going from Georgia to going from one side, and then on my way back, I took it real slow. I took 5 weeks coming back.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't mean to take that long. I was aiming for like 3 to 4 weeks, but instead I was gone 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But
so
that's where
is there anything that you learned from that while you're on that trip?
Yeah, I won't cross America in 7 days again. That's for sure. Taking your time, going the scenic route a lot, like not like and putting avoid highways on the GPS as much as possible is great. And that was much more fun when on my way back when I took my time. And that's when I picked like a lot of Airbnb, really cool, unique Airbnb spots to feature, and I could kind of work my schedule around that. But yeah, a lot of the ideas on the cross country series. It's a 3-month series total. I had pretty much had a plan for them before I left. So I knew I was going to go to Cerro Gordo Ghost Mining Town. I knew I was going to go to Slab City, the town with no laws. I don't think I had planned the missile bunker yet, but I think I knew I was looking for Airbnbs for my way back. I can't remember now, actually. But yeah, I knew it would be about 3 months worth of videos for my way back. And I forget what my plan was there. I'll just about
3 months worth of videos. That's in my opinion, that's a good problem to have, because with me being pretty new, sometimes I'm scrambling, like, what am I going to film next? And
yeah.
That's very good planning.
Then, this is the first year I've done that. The first year on YouTube where I actually planned pretty far in advance, 3 months, but I didn't. And I know a lot of channels are planned out even further than 3 months, like some like the whole year. So I didn't have the rest of the year planned out until I'd been home for maybe back from that trip for maybe 1 to 2 months. But even then, the rest of my year isn't totally planned out. I do have a lot of spaces in there to fill up.
Okay, so this question is going to be a fun one. So I have a buddy named Chuck that he's on my channel sometimes, and he kind of looks like me, but I don't know. I think we have the same mom or something.
Oh,
He's been begging
Parent
to
trap.
come.
it's real.
He's been begging to come on and ask a question. So I told him, you know what? I'll film you asking a question, and
Okay.
I'll just play it for you real quick.
All right.
Hey, Doodle, Chuck here. My question for you is you've rode all sorts of different types of motorcycles. If you could only pick one, which one would it be? By the way, huge fan of the channel. Keep up the great work.
My buddy Chuck there, and just a refresher. He wants to know if you could only choose one motorcycle to ride for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Well, Chuck, thank you for answering that question. And you have a beautiful hair. Give me some tips later on, because your hair looks super, shiny, and healthy. But one motorcycle, only one motorcycle. Probably the one I have, my Triumph Tiger 900 GT Pro. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. Right this second. I think I would have the Triumph Tiger 900 Rally instead, because that is the dual sport version of my bike. Although I have taken my bike off-road by switching out the tires and temporarily, and then just putting it in off-road mode and turning off traction control. But it's not an off-road bike, and there are some other things about it that didn't make it great for off-roading. So yeah, I think I would go with the Rally, because then I could take it off-road and it'd be pretty perfect for that, but it's still great for the street too.
Right. So do you think you might have one of those in your future?
I think so. Yeah, that's my next bike. I think I if I upgraded from the bike I have now, I think I would go Rally.
Yeah.
But for now, my off-roading adventure experience is still pretty new, so I'm just gonna stick with dirt for a while, and keep improving that, and then maybe I'll go for bigger for the dirt. But I don't know that I really need it, honestly, for dirt. Like if I'm gonna be if I'm gonna be going off-road, the light bikes are nice, but if I am doing like some long road trips, the bigger bikes are nice, so they can handle those long highway days really well.
Right. When I had the Pan America, I absolutely love that bike. It's fantastic. But I think I was lying to myself saying that I was going to start doing some adventure riding, going off road, and it just wasn't my style. So 2 weeks later, traded in for a Road King. So
yeah. If I could swing like multiple bikes, like besides I don't know if a mini bike counts, but I'm not totally counting it right now. But if I could, I would love to have a Road King too. Like it'd be nice to have a bagger as well as a dual sport adventure bike.
I'm more of the bagger lifestyle because I go on longer trips, and the police motor officers use the Road Kings, so I figure it's a no-brainer just to go with that. Break Free says the Tiger 900 Rally is calling my name as well.
I know, right? They're really hard to. My shop was saying that they're really hard to keep the Tiger line in stock. Like they sell up so fast. I got lucky with mine. Mine was actually a press bike, so other content creators had used my bike that I ended up getting. So it's a 2023, but it's used. It has had a few thousand miles on it, and so I got a pretty good deal on it, and that's why I got a color I hate, because the deal was too good. I love red, but I also like money, so I'll go for cheaper option.
Deal with it. I'll move into the last question here, and then I'll open it up for Q&A. And this is a question I ask everybody that I bring onto the show. What was the worst experience you've ever had on a motorcycle?
Worst experience. I almost feel like I'm insulting a family member by saying any experience is in the term with the adjective of worst or anything motorcycle related. But I guess technically, probably riding through a dust storm was not great. It was very painful like just physically needing to hold my head up in like, I think it was 45-mile-per-hour winds. So I actually didn't even ride through the worst of it, but I didn't know that riding through crosswinds towards the center of the U.S., apparently there's crosswinds a lot. And sometimes they get so bad, can topple semis. And yeah, I was riding straight and my bike was at a 45-degree angle. My neck was hurting so badly because I had been riding for several hours in that. And I didn't know it was dangerous. I just thought it was annoying. So I remember pulling over at a gas station because I saw that in the distance it was like gray. So it was going to be raining on me too. So I started trying to put on my rain suit, but it was like blowing all over the place. And it was like an omen. This like Native American man comes out of nowhere and he's like, "Are you riding in that?" I was like, I don't know. I was about to. And he's like, "Don't do it. It's not worth your life." I was like, all right. The random Native American man told me not to do it. I'm not going to do it. Pulled over right there it was like a Best Western right next to the gas station. And once I got into the hotel, I got an alert on my phone that said, "High wind advisory warning, do not drive." And yeah, and then the next day when I had gone out on the road, that's when I saw semis toppled over on the highway from the day before.
Yeah, and you got some footage in one of your videos, all that looked pretty wild. And you're lucky that guy came and warned you not to go through it, because I mean, we're motorcyclists. Typically, we just go, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of research about dust storms and wind advisory and that area of the U.S., like the Texas Peninsula, which is apparently a high wind section. Yeah, I had no clue that this existed. Like that, my sister had warned me about high winds, and I just thought she was being a protective older sister trying to keep me from riding my bike across the country. I'm like, who cares about a little wind? What's the big deal? And now I saw like, oh, it's actually very dangerous. It actually like can destroy buildings and homes and vehicles.
And it seems like your family isn't a huge fan of you taking these trips and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the baby of the family. I'm the youngest one and the only one who rides motorcycles. So they definitely worry a lot for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Once you become a parent, you're always worried about you always have kids. You know, they'll always be your little kid. Charlie's riding adventures.
Thank you. My shirt. Yes.
I don't know what that means.
This is from Bikes and Beards.
Okay.
Yeah, they did a video where they bought a police auction bike, and they've done a few videos with that bike and sold this shirt in that video. I'm trying to get him to lend me that bike for a video, and I think he's gonna let me. He's gonna let me let me do it.
There's so many content creators, and I try my best to like watch most of them, but there's just so many, and there's only so much time in the day. You know.
I know. I've actually pretty recently, yeah, like well, not that recent anymore, but I actually watch very little motorcycle channels now, just because I realized I was just doing what all my friends were doing, and I'm like, I want to do something different, but it's hard to do something different when everything you're consuming is,
right.
Yeah, well, you create what you consume, and I've started consuming other things, I guess.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then that helps you come up with your own ideas. Charlie's Riding Adventures says, thanks for taking time for this. It's been a nice space and informative. Who is your favorite motorcycle YouTube channel?
Oh, maybe he's asking you, Joe.
No, I think he's asking you. My favorite channel is Doodle on a motorcycle. So.
Oh, my favorite motorcycle channel is Joe Go Motorcycle Adventures.
Oh, man. Perfect. Awesome. There you go, Charlie.
But if you have to pick another one because you're like, well, I already know Joe Go. Probably Bikes and Beards.
It's hard for me to
pick
because there's so many good ones.
I know.
I don't know. Like Cycle Fanatics. I had him. Dave from Canyon Chasers is always good. It's too tough.
Yeah.
Eric Simmons, of course.
It's also like what favorite though in what? Entertainment, education,
Yeah.
all around silly debauchery, shade tree surgeon.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the great thing is there's so many different genres of motorcycle channels. Not one channel is pretty much the same. Kurt says, "Are you ever out of ideas for content?"
Previously, yes. When I was doing it all myself, I would get pretty consistently, at least once a year, I needed to take like 2 months off because I would run out of ideas, or at least think that all my ideas were crap. I was like, everything I do sucks, and I would just need to stop creating for a little bit. But this year, I've really, and actually, this was I would say Sean from Bikes and Beard gave me this homework. He gave me this advice because I asked him kind of about his idea process in a live stream, and his advice was to come up with 100 ideas after watching like some of your favorite YouTube videos. And that took me a while though to come up with. Like it maybe took me like months, but now I have well over 100. I have like maybe about 200 ideas. Not all are great, of course, but at least they're there. And also now that I've just this year started hiring editors regularly, it helps me think a lot more, because it's like instead of expending creative energy editing, I've been instead using that creative energy for thinking of more video ideas and researching and planning. And so I have way more ideas than I have time now.
Break Free asks, for any new riders out there, what would be your best recommendation for a class to take?
For a new rider, like a brand new, never ridden before, probably the MSF entry level, the basic rider course. And say they're new and they have taken that. There are like more advanced classes that they can take at the MSF. But also police courses, like police modified courses like Robert Simmons and Jerry Palladino. I think also just repeating the same classes over and over again is great. Like some people think that they do one class and then they're done. Like that is like what? No, like the black belt is the white belt that took the same class over and over and over and over again, like literally hundreds of times. Yeah. Even just repeating the same classes is great.
I would have to agree. Do the basic rider course. Even Harley Davidson does one, which I took even after I got my license, which was great. Then somewhere along the lines of Robert Simmons or Jerry Palladino, or even Pro Rider, one of the Pro Rider classes. Taking both of those, and that'll get you prepared for lock and lane. I highly suggest everybody do lock and lane after some extra education.
Do you take your own bike for that?
Yeah, you take your own bike for that. I actually took the Pan America. I planned on bringing my Street Glide, but the clutch went out, so I had to bring the Pan America. So completely new bike. It was tough.
I see a question we missed from Break Free. They said, what other passions are you pursuing outside of motorcycles and YouTube? Other passions outside of motorcycling and YouTube. So that's a tricky thing because it's so YouTube is so consuming. I'm literally making myself trying to do other things so that I'm not just doing it and burning myself out from it. Personally, I'm actually recently been doing yoga. Specifically I like the hard yoga classes, not the like just stretch and that's it. I like the ones where I'm actually like very sore the next day. Just because it's so great, especially for after road trips where everything hurts. And after yoga, your body feels like healed. That was something that bothered me about jiu-jitsu, and why I haven't done it in a couple of years, because I would come home from these road trips where my whole body hurt, and then I went to jiu-jitsu, and then my body hurt even more in new places, and it just started making me mad. And but then with yoga, I would have the opposite effect. It would literally make me feel better. So yeah, probably yoga.
Break Free's coming in hot with all these questions here. Yes, what's your view on the current state of electric bikes? Would you buy one now or wait?
I think I would wait just because of the range. Well, no, I take that back because like my mini bike, I don't need that to have over 150-mile range. So I think if I did get an electric bike, it'd be like a one that I don't take for road trips. But maybe like a mini dirt bike. But I don't know what it really has much benefits over gas. I don't know. What would you do? What do you think?
Yeah, I honestly, I would probably just still wait because for me, it's definitely not practical because I'm going on much longer trips than I think you can only get like maybe 130, 40 miles. Yeah, something like that. But then you got to wait for it to charge for another 3-4 hours, however long. Another reason why I would wait is because my wife would kill me if I bought a third bike. So I really squeaked by with the second one.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, I would wait.
Yeah.
Technology is evolving very quickly.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I guess, too, it wouldn't be bad for commuting. Like there was a time when I only commuted on my bike. Like I didn't even take it on weekend trips, and it was just my commuter. So it would have worked for that.
Charlie's Riding Adventures says, have Chuck go and do a yoga video. I don't know. I don't think Chuck's the type of guy to do it. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Why don't we ask Chuck?
Well, he's he had a long night last night, so he actually already went to sleep.
How do you know that? How do you know so much about Chuck and what he's thinking?
I don't know. I really think we're brothers. We just read each other's minds.
Oh, wow. Maybe you all are clones then. That sounds like a very close relationship.
Kurt Wall says, I like when other YouTubers get together on a channel and talk motorcycle stories like this event. Thanks, Kurt.
Yeah. I used to do a lot more live streams too. That is one thing I do miss about the beginnings on YouTube was doing a lot of live streams on my channel and with other channels. It was more of a like stuff like this, like just small chats with like you can actually talk to the people in the chat section. Yeah. Now, like too many trolls. I'm done. I'm trying to avoid them.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I get it. I'm in my real early stages, but I get some here and there, and then I'll just block them. Yeah. I got pretty thick skin, so these negative comments. No. I mean, I've lucked out pretty well. The amount of people that I've met from starting the YouTube channel is just insane. I would have never met these people without the channel.
Yeah. How long have you been posting YouTube videos?
I think I just hit 2 years on May 7th.
Nice. You know how many subscribers I had in 2 years on YouTube?
How many?
1,000 subscribers. So you beat me.
Yeah, but you're well far along the journey.
The learning is exponential.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, like it took me 5 years to get my first 50,000 subscribers, but then my next 50,000 subscribers took 1 year. Oh. So it can definitely be very exponential if you kind of treat it the way you already treat motorcycling. Is just keep learning. People
think YouTube's easy, but after they could just see exactly everything that goes into it. I mean,
yeah, it's very strategy based for sure. It's that was something I didn't know my first several years on YouTube too. I definitely thought it was a lot more luck, but now I see how much more strategy goes into it.
Yeah. And by doing stuff like this, so you have your strategy. I mean, we're creators and we got to somehow get compensated for all the work that we're putting in. But you can also do the live streams where they see, like, hey, we're real people just making videos. Before you leave, where exactly can we find you?
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Doodle on a Motorcycle.
Perfect. And on your website, doodleonamotorcycle.com.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, Doodle, I want to thank you for coming on. It's been a blast, and it's an honor that you agreed to come on because...
Thank you for having me.
From watching your content for a while now, it's perfect, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up. I want to thank you all for joining. And if you want to check out some other live streams that I've done, check out this playlist right here. If you're watching this on the replay. And as always, this is Joe Go with Joe Go Motorcycle Adventures. Until next time, ride on.